Welcome to the very first episode of the Common Woman Podcast. Yay! As you can see, we are really excited. Doing this podcast here with one of my closest friends,
Melissa.
And I'm Cortnie. And we wanted to just talk about relationships and all of the issues that you go through and various types of relationships, whether it be when you're dating, marriage, friendships,
Family.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And we're coming from the perspective of just your average everyday woman, hence the name of this podcast, The Common Woman. So that was extra.
You're cute. You're cute though.
So also joining us is my wonderful, wonderful husband.
You can't see him.
You can't see him, yeah. That's a good point. He's off camera. I'm pointing over here like people can see.
Mm-hmm.
He's off camera, but he's my amazing Puerto Rican prince. I've never called you that before.
I know, that sounds really...
I was a little uncomfortable, but I didn't want to say anything.
How you doing?
He is also a jack of all trades. He does everything.
He's
like
the sound man today and the videographer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you know, on your average day, he's a registered nurse. You know, he knows how to deal with computers.
So if I drop a light on you, I can fix you up after that.
Exactly.
And I don't always stutter either.
I have a feeling.
Disclaimer.
There's going to be a lot of stuttering things.
Oh, yeah.
I am nervous as hell.
You know, this is our very first podcast, so bear with us as we work out the kinks. All right. I promise you're in for a good time. So, yeah, let's get to it. So today we wanted to talk about two very important topics: self-awareness and self-reflection.
Yes.
Now, what exactly is that? I feel like I wanted to start here because when you're dating and when you're getting into like trying to find the person that you want to be with, you really need to start with yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, look at yourself.
Absolutely.
You said self-awareness. Be aware of yourself and what you want and
what you're putting out, what you're attracting.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And it's a lot of work. And I know that it's a very ugly and tedious process. It's emotional.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of crying.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of it,
it's worth it.
It's the light.
Yeah. I mean, because you really need to be happy with yourself. You have to be able to be with yourself, date yourself.
You have to be really honest with yourself.
Oh.
Honesty is key.
I wish I had a sound effect for that. That was just some
We need to start getting some booms and stuff, right?
I downloaded an app on my iPad. I don't have it. We needed a bomb or something for that one. You have to be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people aren't honest with themselves and what they want and who they want as a partner. So that time is very crucial, very important. So I figured we could start with talking about our own self-awareness and self-discovery and self-reflection in the process of where we're at. Because from my perspective right now, I'm married. We've been married for...
Get it right. Get it right.
She stared at him.
I'm like, babe, help me out here. We've been married. We've been married since 2009. I'm horrible with math. We've been married since 2009. We met in 2004.
Oh,
2004. And
sure?
we officially,
sure?
yes, we officially started dating in January of 2005. Anyway, before I met my amazing husband, oh God, I was going through it. Girl, I was meeting the same type of dude over and over who only wanted sex from me. None of them had jobs. None of them even really had cars. You know, and I was just like, I don't understand what's going on. I'm meeting the same type of person, but I was putting the blame outward. I was putting the blame on them.
Exactly.
Like, and these dudes were always like cheating on me and having multiple girls. So I was like, oh, it's them. But then I liked this one guy and he actually told me about myself. And that's when it got real. Because as a woman, when a man tells you about yourself, it hits different. It feels a little different.
Well, it's going to be, I mean, not always going to be the truth, but.
Yeah. If it's a man that you respect.
Yeah.
Or a good man.
I feel like we can tell when they're trying to fluff us.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
You got hit. with some truth.
He hit me with some truth. I was like, oh,
bam.
Okay. Yeah.
You'll do the booms.
And that really hurts when it comes from someone that you were trying to like, I guess that you liked, you want them to see you in a different light, but when they see you for who you really are, it's like, oh, okay.
Because you weren't aware.
Exactly.
So what did he say?
Well, he told me, mind you, babe, this was years and years ago.
I'm comfortable in my manliness.
All right.
I'm good.
Okay. When I was in high school, I think, or just graduated high school. So he was telling me that
we don't have to put a timeline.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Because then people know how
we're
old
very young.
You don't know how old
We're very young. We're very young.
Lighting does.
You don't need to know if it's old. I didn't like that comment. I didn't appreciate that.
We have to mute his microphone somehow. We're gonna have to find a way. So anyway, he told me that I exude sex, and I was like, exude sex. So basically, he was trying to tell me that I'm putting it out there that, look, I'm easy. Come get this. And I was like, that's not what I want to put out there. It's funny how you think in your head you're doing something, but you're doing the complete opposite. And I realized that I was just giving in to these guys and just giving them what they wanted because I felt like that was the only way to get what I wanted.
It's hard to hear, though. It's like, how the hell am I doing that? And how am I supposed to change that? What do you mean?
Right. And that was, you were just saying before, it's painful. That was the painful part. I had to go and see myself. So from that point is when I took time to myself. And I was crying myself to sleep every night. I was miserable being alone. But I was like, you know what? I got to get this right. Because I definitely do not want to put it out there like that. I don't want to be seen as like just sex. There's way more to me, Exactly. So I did that. I went through the process. I would take myself out on dates. I'd go out to eat by myself. And I learned who I was. I learned what I wanted. And, I'm a very spiritual person. So I prayed a lot. I wrote down a list.
A list is key.
Yes.
The list is key.
I made that list about everything that I wanted, the qualities I wanted in a man.
It makes it clear to you and to the universe as to what you want. So that's what you can focus on. So that helps you attract it.
Exactly. And there's something about putting pen to paper.
There is.
There's power in that.
They say there is. Yeah.
And not only did I focus on the qualities of the partner I wanted, I put in that writing, I prayed that I would be the type of woman who is deserving of a man with such qualities. That's a thing that a lot of women don't do. A lot of women don't take the time to look at themselves. They're like, I want this guy to have this, and that. But what do you bring to the table? Because a man like this, and that is not going to come to you with what you got. You know what I mean?
Again, that's that self-awareness. You might not even be aware that you don't come with the certain qualities that you're requiring of a partner. Right. So, reflection, ladies.
So yeah, that's my story. Not too long after that, after I made that list, and after I really took the time to get to know myself and what I wanted, bing.
All right, give us the age range. What was the age range on that?
How 20s, old I was?
20s, late 20s?
Yeah, my early 20s.
Early 20s.
Well,
look at you.
23.
God is good.
Yeah.
Because us over here in the later 30s, it's a different scene.
But you know what? It doesn't matter when it happens as long as it happens.
Truth. That's true.
What about you, girl?
Oh boy. All right. Well, I gave it away already. Mid 30s. I think my defining moment was a very toxic relationship. I realized that I went into the relationship in a panic. I was like, oh my God, I'm in my 30s. I need to be married with kids. My clock is ticking. I was stressed.
So many women can relate
I was
to that.
stressed. And I'm like, okay, the man that came along was someone that I knew from the past. So there was some comfort, familiarity. Familiarity. We got it. It took a minute.
Friday night.
I'm not even going to try anymore.
I'm going to blame it on the wine. But anyway.
You just started.
Oh, excuse me.
We didn't ask for your opinion, okay?
You are not allowed to talk. And I have you know this is glass 2.
But
You're
I'm
not allowed to talk.
Babe.
Work the sound. So, this man came. I was alone for a while. I was lonely. I wasn't doing much reflection. I wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting around sad, waiting for someone to come save me. And so here comes this man. Here comes this man who just gave me a certain amount of attention that I was not used to, and a fake security. A fake security. He sold himself so high.
He did. I was sold too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he really was not that. I don't want to be nasty, but he was not that.
Yeah.
So, very toxic relationship, verbal abuse, a little bit of physical abuse that eventually ended the relationship. And so after that is when the real work started on myself, because I went through the whole process of what did I do?
Yeah.
And it took me a while to really realize that it was me, but it was a lot of him. What's interesting is you don't realize how manipulated you can be and abused, and you don't see it until you really come out of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And at first it was like, what did I do to deserve this? And really it was just what it needed to be.
Right.
It was something hard to knock me down so that I can put that work in and build it back up, but brand new.
That is a beautiful way to put it, Mel.
Brand new. It took a lot of journaling, a lot of crying, and a lot of accepting.
Yeah.
So I have no kids yet. We're going to put that out
there.
Put
that into, speaking into existence.
We still have time.
Yes, yes.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. Well, it is sometimes, but we're not there yet.
You're still good.
We're not there
You're
yet.
still good.
And so, but I had to get to a point where it's like, okay, you know what? We need to stop worrying about this clock.
Right.
If it doesn't happen, I have made peace with it. I'm okay to not have a child. As long as I am happy with myself.
Right.
Let's make this money and travel. Let's just live life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And
then if a child comes, then
that's a blessing.
Praise be.
Yeah, because let me tell you, kids are hard. Okay, we have a 3-year-old, and that girl is working our souls. But she's a blessing. We love her so much. But I mean, that's such a good point, though. Like, you need to enjoy your life and be happy with where you are at whatever point you're at.
Exactly.
And let the blessings come when they come.
Exactly.
A lot of people, it's like, I know a lot of women can relate to your story, because a lot of women feel like you get to a certain age and then this has to happen.
They sold it to us as if we're supposed to be married with kids in our 20s, and it's become later and later for women.
Right.
But there's women having babies in their 40s.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, it still sits with us.
Yeah.
And then our parents do not help, because they're old school. They had their kids in their 20s. So then they're looking at you like, well, what are you doing?
And it's not right. It's not fair, because it's putting unnecessary pressure on women.
It is.
And that's why there's so many people getting into the wrong relationships.
Yes. In a hurry. You're in a hurry, and you're excusing a lot of bad, poisonous behavior.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because you just want it to work out so badly. But ladies, your intuition is key. I know how easy it is to ignore it. You checked me on it today. When you love someone, you want to excuse so many things, because you don't want them to be doing anything harmful to you. But when you feel it, acknowledge it. and figure out the root of it and move accordingly.
Yo,
don't waste your time.
I need
don't
bomb
waste your
sound
time.
effects.
That sounded like a bear, but but okay.
Bears usually roar.
I love it. I love it. But you know what, Mel? You're so right. And intuition is so key. And that is another reason why it's so important to be self-aware and to do this self-reflection. Because when you're self-aware, you understand what your intuition means and what it feels like. A lot of us don't even recognize the feelings that we get. Like you meet someone and you think that they're all good, but then like something happens and you feel something. You don't know what it is. You can't put the finger on it.
Exactly.
You know? But when you're self-aware, when you trust yourself, when you trust that this feeling that you get is an indication of something you need to pay attention to and that you shouldn't ignore, then it changes the game completely. You know, it's completely changed for you. And that's something that I learned during my self-reflection too. Because I would always have like these really strong feelings and I didn't know where to place them or what they meant. But as I learned myself, I was like, okay, this means this. Like this means I shouldn't trust this person. Or this means maybe I should move on. You know, this isn't the right person for me. You know, just not ignoring yourself. Like I really truly believe that we are all given the God-given ability to sense things and know when something isn't right, know when a person isn't right, you know? So,
and this is a tool. So this has to be sharpened regularly.
Girl.
So you're gonna miss some and you're gonna get some and you just
That was
have
lame,
to.
yeah.
Your bear bomb was better.
your bear bomb was better. But you wanna you're going to practice it regularly because people are going to try you from every angle. Your partner, your friends, your mom. She tests me all the time. Yeah. She don't mean to, but she does. I see it.
It's true. It's true.
It's rough.
But I'm sorry. Can you just repeat that one more time, please?
Girl,
your intuition is a tool.
Because I forgot what I said.
It needs to be sharpened regularly.
Yes.
That's going to be a quote on the Instagram page.
This is where you need the organ sound.
Yo, we need eventually we're going to step it up here with this podcast.
We will.
And we're going to have some sound effects stuff. You know, just bear with us. But yeah, like she said, there is going to be a lot of people who are going to test you. And there's people in this world too that are going to pick up on your lack of self-awareness. Or your lack of
self-confidence.
Yes.
I knew it. Confidence is key.
Girl.
Confidence is key.
Girl. Because when they pick up on that, they will exploit that.
There will be another episode on self-confidence. We're not going to dive deep into that one.
We're not going to do a deep dive.
But ladies, don't be scared to be single and to be by yourself and to not have a child if you're in your 30s. I had to have a real sit down recently with both. First I started with my mom because mom always has a little more pressure. And so I had a nice little sit down with mom and I was just like, here's where I'm at. I am okay either way. If I do or I don't, I need you to sit well with this. Because I don't want to hear it again.
To that though?
She's careful around me sometimes. So she knows that this, I guess, is I think this is a sensitive topic even for her. So she was like, listen, kids are hard. Yeah. And they're not for everybody. And if it doesn't happen, then that's fine. And I was like, well, cool. I just needed you to know because I didn't want there to be any, what's wrong with her? When is that? You know what I'm saying? And I also later had a talk with her and my dad. Because I know my dad wants me to get married and have a baby and all of that. And I was just like, look, I'm not going to be pressured and forced into this. I'm not going to settle for any just regular guy. Good. So it's either going to happen or it's not. I'm okay. And then he was cool. He kind of was like, well, disappointed. I feel like a little, why? Because the conversation came up about women who want to have kids and take it to their own hands. That'll be also another episode. So we're not going to dive into that.
Yeah, there's plenty to talk about.
But he had said, when I said for me personally, I want a man in the picture. I want a husband and wife. I want a mom and dad. He said, well, we're here to help. So I felt like that was like, if you wanted to do it by yourself, we got you. And that was sweet. And I was like, I hear you, but no, thank you. not the route I'm going. Not the route I'm going.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm in a great place right now. Journaling is very important. Journaling is key. Constantly journal.
Yes.
If you need someone to talk to, go see someone.
Yes.
Meditation is good. Just, take yourself out to dinner. Just enjoy your space. Yeah. So that, you like yourself. Yourself. Love yourself.
And let's be clear. Like, we're not saying you have to be 100% perfect. Like, work every single thing out
absolutely
that
not.
You're dealing with and work out all your issues. No. You at least have to start. You at least have to start the process of really looking at who you are and what you want.
Well, I feel like
go from there.
When you start to fall in love with yourself, you're very picky. You're very selective about who you're gonna let in this space.
Yeah.
And occupy it, because this is now a sacred space.
Yes. Yes.
So if you're not coming with the goods, I don't need you here, because I'm happy. But then if you come correct, now you're just adding something nice.
You're adding
something
to the
nice.
Sanctuary.
And I like that.
The gems that are being dropped right now. I really like that.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Would that be like an upgrade you?
There is no upgrading. Can you stop talking?
We are already upgraded, all right? Silly.
We're going to get rid of his mic soon. Don't worry, y'all. This won't be forever.
Man, I forgot what I was going to say now. Because there was something that you said in that was so important. You were talking about the sanctuary, and I forgot now. What did you say?
I don't know why you keep asking me that. Once this comes out, it's gone.
It's out there. We're going to have to rewind it.
I said... when it's your sanctuary, then when someone comes correct, it's just something nice. It's something, it's value that
You're
comes in.
You're not going to accept less than what you deserve. Yeah. That was what I wanted to touch on.
I'm glad, because I didn't go that route at all right now. But I was saying.
Everything that you were saying was pointing towards that. Because a lot of us, when we were dating or when we are dating, we tend to accept and let go of a lot of things that we're like, I don't think that's a good thing. But we're like, meh.
We made an excuse.
Exactly.
I made an excuse all through my last horrifying relationship. I was like, well, he's just yelling at me because, he had a death in the family not that long ago. And so he's just having a moment. Yeah. Well, shoot, that moment then stretched out. It lasted a long ass time. And it took me a minute to realize, like, well, sir, this is you, huh? I don't like this.
Yeah. There comes a point where you have to really just look at them for who they are.
And they tell you.
Will show you who they are. They tell you.
They tell you. You gotta pay close attention. The problem is when you really like someone, you get them little goggles on.
And they're foggy.
Yeah, they're foggy.
Can't really see
the
clearly.
Beer goggles.
All right.
That's what they call them, beer goggles. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, the girl looks really pretty in the bar, but then when you wake up, not so.
We can go with that. So we're drunk in the beginning.
Basically,
drunk in love.
And then eventually you sober up, and then you're like, what the hell is that?
I've had a moment like that.
Girl.
Yo.
I don't want to tell you how many times I've had that moment. I'm not telling on myself, but
I'm gonna tell on myself a little bit, because I met this guy in a club one time.
Oh, God.
And when we were in the club, how it's dark in the club, so I was like, oh, he looks good. When we got outside in the daylight, I was like, girl, what? But I still continued to see him.
Well, you were like stuck, and that's it.
I don't know what was wrong with me, and I paid for it later because he was trash.
You were bored.
Yeah. I was bored.
Don't get bored, ladies. Don't get bored.
No.
Don't call your girlfriend. Bored, call a girlfriend. Go out to eat. Don't need the attention of a bum to just don't do it. Don't do it. We got rid of the bums. We got rid of the bums.
Don't devalue yourself.
I recently got rid of the bums.
Boredom.
So I get it, but at some point we got to just say goodbye. No.
Every single dude I dated before my husband was a bum that I was entertaining. And I knew they were bums, and I still kept going with it. Mm-hmm. It's hard. And we're not judging, you know, like we were there, you know, we're not judging.
I'm still a little bit there. I'm seeing someone now who I like. He's very sweet.
Yeah.
But prior to right before him,
yeah.
You know, I'm embarrassed, but you know.
What are you embarrassed for? It's a process. It's all a process. And that's another thing. Don't beat yourself up. Like, as long as you keep moving forward,
you gotta cry it out real quick. Say, "Damn, you did it again." Here's what happened. Write it out. Yeah. Don't let it happen again. Mm-hmm. That's what we need to do.
Mm-hmm. And part of not letting it happen again, it comes from valuing yourself more, because you're going to be like, I deserve better than this. If you truly feel like you don't deserve better, then you're not going to give yourself better. You're not going to allow. And you know what's funny? When you really feel like you don't deserve better, other people will pick up on that too. And Absolutely. They will treat you accordingly. But Absolutely. When you value yourself, you will find a partner that values you even more than you value yourself.
The self-confidence.
Amen.
The self-confidence.
Amen. We're going to get into that in another show.
It's so key.
It is. It really is.
And it starts early.
It starts early.
But we won't.
Oh, it's hard not to. I mean, we could always do
We're
more.
not going to.
Okay.
We're going to leave that
We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it.
Yeah.
But you see where we're going with it. So, yeah. Just love yourself. It sounds cliche, but it's really important. You know, how are you going to get anybody else to love you if you don't love you? You know?
Facts.
Facts on facts.
Facts on facts.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being with us on our very first episode of the Common Women podcast.
We appreciate you.
We really, really hope that you all got something out of this. We just want to reiterate the importance of self-awareness and self-reflection, and taking the time to really be with yourself, to learn what you want, what you value, write down everything.
Journaling is very, very important.
Yes, yes, it is.
It releases all that trapped emotions inside of you. So you want to constantly just pour it out on a paper, reflect on it, cry it out, and just move on.
Allow yourself to feel what you're feeling.
Yeah, feel it, and then just move on.
Move on. Yeah.
Move on. Forgive yourself.
Forgive yourself.
Forgiveness of your bad decisions and all of that. That's very, very important.
Very key. Very key.
Very important.
Yeah. So just take this time and reflect and do the work. It will do you well to put that work in. It's well worth the pain and the struggling that you have to go through a little bit, you know, in this process. But understand that it is a process, and it eventually will end. It'll turn into something greater. So, yeah, we just want to encourage you, and hopefully you will come back and you will
yes, please
join us for our next podcast. We have so much to talk about.
We do, and we might bring a friend here and there
to
join us on the chat, which will be fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Additional stories, horror stories, which they typically tend to be, but that's okay.
Yeah, eventually also we're going to want to get questions. We'll want people to ask questions. You can DM us.
Absolutely.
We're going to have an Instagram page. The Common Woman Podcast is our Instagram page. So feel free to DM us, send us any stories or questions, comments, anything you want to hear us talk about.
We welcome it all.
We'd love to hear from you.
Yes. So we're going to send off with just a positive affirmation just for the week. Just remember that you are enough and you are worthy of whatever it is that you want. Love, money, a career change,
that,
just whatever it is that you want. Just be positive and just affirm it.
You're enough. Say it to yourself. Look in the mirror. You might feel a little corny, but do it. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I am enough. It really will make a difference.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.